Hey guys, Jared from the Vinyl Corner, and today we will be unboxing and reviewing the latest from experimental trio Death Grips. So if you somehow don't know who Death Grips is at this point in time, they are, as I said, an experimental trio out of California, and they've been releasing some of the most head-turning music of the decade, albums like The Money Store, The Powers That Be, and yeah, they have just released some of the most consistently fantastic and boundary-pushing albums coming out today, and I am an absolutely gigantic fan of them, so when the pre-orders went up for this, I obviously had to cop it. This is the pre-order exclusive green vinyl with the die-cut sleeve. So yeah, as always, I will be reviewing the album after the unboxing. If you guys want the album unboxings and the reviews separately from now on, let me know, or I could just always choose to do one or the other. But yeah, I know there was a couple people that messaged me saying they would prefer to see reviews separate from unboxings, but yeah, let's get into looking at this beautiful pre-order.
So yes, here it is. Like I said, this is the pre-order exclusive. This is the green vinyl version, but that isn't really the reason I wanted it the most. It's actually because of this right here. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but it's actually a die cut. So the mouths move into place, and it's really cool. So yeah, the sleeve has the one part of the album art on it and the reverse side, so that if you want to, you can do some cool like calypso version of this and have it chilling there. It looks real cool, pops out, so I like that they did that little detail. It's real fun. And then underneath that comes the lyric sheet here, just printed in yellow. Some really interesting pictures over here. You know, Death Grips is always doing their cryptic shit, so I don't know exactly what these are supposed to entail, but they look like a jacket of some sort and then some lights. So yeah, and then more on the back, and I love this picture too. It's like a bunch of bubbles, but they're like crazy and look like they're on acid. But yeah, really cool, nice glossy. The only problem is this is probably going to get creased real easy. I'm sure you can probably actually see some creases already, but it's whatever. I don't remember if this came with a download card. It might have came with like an email download, but yeah. And getting into the vinyl itself, as I said, it is a beautiful green, translucent. It does have a little bit of like black smoke. I think I've seen more on other pressings. I think I might have just gotten a tiny little bit. Very weird labeling. I don't know if esoteric is the right word, but there's definitely nothing quite like Death Grips aesthetic out there currently. So yeah, really weird. There's like the emojis in there if you guys can't see it too well, and it's kind of just real weird. But yeah, these do sound really nice. I have already listened to this one before. I have reviewed it on my Instagram. But yeah, really nice pressing. The labeling is extremely strange. It's extremely Death Grips. Everything about this packaging just kind of encapsulates them. It's very DIY, lo-fi, gritty, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's absolutely boundary pushing right now, and I'm absolutely in love with it. So yeah, this was totally worth the price to me. I love all the little details in it, and like I said, this pressing does sound nice. It's not going to sound too much better than the CD, obviously, because you know it's like digital electronic like stuff made now through that kind of format, but it does have that extra bass kick that you get, which is cool. So yeah, if you guys are a fan of Death Grips, I do believe these are sold out, but I have been hearing good things about these standard pressings as well, so definitely go pick this one up. They put a lot of effort into the packaging and pressing.
So yeah, I am definitely satisfied for the price I paid. I mean, I'm a huge Death Grips fan, so I'll probably be satisfied regardless, but the records sound nice, the packaging is fantastic, so all is well and good by me. So getting into the music on these records, this is one of my favorite Death Grips releases to date. It just shows how versatile and how ready they are to tackle completely new ideas or to change their style so slightly to focus on a certain piece of their sound, and this one just happens to be the electronic album of the group so far. And that's not to say that other Death Grips releases haven't been electronic before, but I feel like as a whole piece, this is definitely one of the ones that is focused on it more, besides maybe like government plates or like the Fashion Week and interview stuff. But for the main like studio albums, this is definitely one of the more electronic focused ones, and I feel like it's their best electronic work yet. I just feel like everything they do on here is so seamless and functionable to the sound and the style they're going for. Even when they step outside of their usual sonic idea for this album, it still fits perfectly in the theme. Songs like Black Paint, which are like kind of just like a straight up hardcore punk track, it fits so well because of the little things they do to add on top of it with the effects and how they record and mix the vocals. But yeah, like they just literally will bust out like punk tracks, but they really don't diverge their focus too much. So when they do, they decide to go really into it, and I appreciate that a lot about this album. It kicks off perfectly with Death Grips is Online. It shows everything that this album is going to be about. It's dark, it's glitchy, it's chaotic, and yeah, it's completely focused again mainly on the electronic side of the band, but they're making it work so well. Ride is flowing fucking crazily all over this thing, and yeah, it just sets a really good atmosphere for the beginning, and it definitely kind of encapsulates a lot of the ideas of the album. The second track, Flies, is one of the craziest songs they've made in terms of just kind of making me feel anxious. The synths that are going on here are just chaotic, and they're very intense in a way. The way that they're put together is just very like anxious, and it builds up in me very fast. But yeah, the song has a great flow to it. It's extremely electronic. It kind of goes deeper on the ideas of Death Grips is Online. Again, it just like really goes into this idea of the electronics. But yeah, this song is glitchy and absolutely fucking amazing, and it transitions beautifully into Black Paint, which, considering how different Black Paint is sonically from Flies, it's so crazy that they made a transition that was just so seamless and perfect for it. And again, Black Paint is definitely one of my favorites on here. It's just a fucking raucous time. It's heavy, it's intense, and yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. So another great transition leads us into Linda's in Custody. And this song is, again, just extremely head rattling for Death Grips. Like, the way it starts off in the beginning, it has like this super slinking along synth. It's really like downtrodden, but it still has this bounce to it, this little bit of punch. But then when all of the other instrumentation comes in after this awesome transition, little one, it's just crazy, it's chaotic, and it leads you all over the place because of the way things are mixed. It's like incorporating both ears, like both channels, and it's like going all over, and it's extremely like overwhelming and drowning, but in an absolutely fantastic way. And yeah, this song is one song that keeps growing on me a lot more with time and has become one of my absolute favorites as well. The horn section shows off a lot of prowess for Zach Hill on the drums. The guy is an absolute beast. He's one of my personal favorite drummers out there, and this song shows a lot of his versatility. The way he's playing is just really different from a lot of what Death Grips does, and it shows off his, again, amount of skill and diversity. But the song's super short, and it transitions amazingly into Ha Ha Ha, which was one of the singles. A lot of these came out as singles initially, if you guys weren't around for the hype train. Like, half of this album dropped as singles before it came out, and it was done strategically, of course. Death Grips always does crazy shit like that by strategy. But yeah, this song is absolutely fantastic. It closes out the first side perfectly because it has a weird tone to it, and it kind of shifts in the second half of the record, in my opinion. So yeah, it really clean cuts in the middle here, and Ha 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 is a great song with a lot of intense shit going on. Starting off side B, we have Shit Show, and pretty much lives up to the title, but in the best way possible. This song goes all over the map in its short run time. It hits super fast. It almost has like blast beats in it, but it slows down. But like, it's just this crazy game of tug of war, like pushing and pulling on all these different like emotions and feelings and like strings in your brain. It's just, again, a really head rattling, a really just anxious sounding song, and it transitions into Streaky fantastically, which Streaky is one of the lesser great tracks on here, but I definitely wouldn't say it's mediocre or even below just good. Honestly, it's a fantastic song, but the synth sounds can be a little dated sounding to some people, and I completely understand that. But yeah, it's really fun, it's really bouncy, and it shows that they have a little bit of a lighter side to them with the electronic stuff, but it still has that Death Grip stamp on it. So yeah, when it first came out as a single, I wasn't too huge for it, but it definitely incorporates itself into the track listing a lot better as a whole piece. So this next part might sound a little asinine to you that aren't into Death Grips or don't understand how they easily incorporate themselves into meme culture. But the next song has the director of Shrek on it, and he's giving a nice little monologue to open up the song. It's a creepy little just beginning part, and it just like, it blows my mind that they're that like not giving a shit, but at the same time like they gave enough of a shit to actually like do something with this guy, instead of just like, haha, look, we're working with the guy from Shrek because we're a meme and so is Shrek. So it's like, I don't know, it's a perfect, again, snapshot of what Death Grips is about. Taking people's ideas, toying with them, and just completely shattering all expectations. So yeah, the song is really awesome. It's really dark. It has a really just kind of aggressively anxious atmosphere to it. And yeah, this, like I said earlier, transitions into Little Richard. As I mentioned before, Little Richard is one of the songs I'm kind of iffy on the album. Definitely my least favorite, but it transitions beautifully into The Fear, and The Fear is one of the best songs of Death Grip's career. It has an intense amount of jazz ideas in it, and again, they just pull it off fucking flawlessly. And it blows my mind because these guys are like experimental noise, hip hop, punk, but they're over here like making electronic jazz music, and it's perfect. It's amazing. This song is, again, definitely one of my favorites, one of the absolute highlights of the Death Grips canon. And this transitions into a little fake outro, which is a cool little piece, but it ends with Disappointed, which, again, one of my favorite Death Grip songs at this point. My first or second favorite on the album. It always switches between this and The Fear, but yeah, I love the bounciness of this. The drumming is absolutely on point. And yeah, I mean, obviously throughout the whole record, MC Ride has a lot of esoteric lyricism going on here. He has a lot of different approaches to his flow and his vocals. He can either be screaming his brains out about eating the devil out, or he can be low key and have a really just menacing personality to him. But no matter what he's doing, you can tell it's genuine, and he's definitely a scary person no matter what vocal inflection he's taking to a song. So yeah, this album is just absolutely fantastic. Again, one of my absolute favorite releases of the year. Honestly, if Little Richard wasn't on here, I would say this album is flawless, but unfortunately Little Richard is pretty weak, and it does break up the album flow, but really there's no complaints to me personally outside of that. And yeah, this album's absolutely fantastic, and I would rate it a 9.5 out of 10. So that was the unboxing and review of Death Grips' Year of the Snitch. Let me know down below, guys, what you thought of the album and what you think about Death Grips. And while you're down there, hit that description box, check out all those links, hit that like button, subscribe. And until next time, guys, have a nice day.